Hello and welcome to the Rebel Ballerina Show. I am your host, Lisa Loree, the Rebel Ballerina. And, it's really interesting life. Well, life is interesting, in case you haven't noticed. I'm sure you've pondered a little bit anyway, how interesting life is. But I have a friend who just did an intensive, ballet intensive, which is really fun. And we had an intensive, we always do a summer intensive at the studio where I teach and train as well. And that's a normal thing for kids to get to have a summer intensive where you go for hours. Whereas typically, when during the school year, you go to the studio for an hour and a half or maybe 3 hours, depending on what kind of classes you're doing. And but then that's it. Or you might have some rehearsals. In the summer intensive, all of the kids get an opportunity to take back to back classes and with a range of different things. Definitely ballet technique, depending on level, you would have point as well. They all get to learn some kind of variation, which is a solo from different ballets, which is super fun to be able to do that. And usually some kind of conditioning thing. This year we offered ballroom, which was super fun. I even took that. That was great. And or there's some other kind of like character thing or like flamenco has been done in the past or jazz or some other variation of dance and gives all of the students a chance to try different things. So it's super fun and these usually last a good 3 to 4 hours at a time, which is great, maybe even 5. So I have a student of mine, a friend, who did an adult intensive, which is amazing to have that offered for adults to begin with, because typically adults are left out of this kind of thing. So very, very fun. But in the process of the intensive and learning variations, every year she is like, "Ugh, I can't believe that we had to learn this variation, whatever it was." Because it's usually way over their heads, way over their heads. And there's a struggle. And the problem is that because it's so difficult and the choreography is so either complicated or fast or whatever the situation is, it's impossible to hold on to technique during that. And so then you're gripping the wrong muscles and you're kind of muscling your way through instead of really using the technique that you already have to get through these pieces. And so as she's talking about it, I'm like, I don't know why people think that that's okay with ballet. And the example I used was, I mean, who would want to listen to if you were, say, a beginner, not beginner, but a moderate beginner, and you're just becoming proficient with, say, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star on the violin? You're no longer screeching through that song. It's like, okay, there's some simulants of technique and know-how there. And so during an intensive, it's like, okay, great. So we're going to learn Vivaldi's Winter. What? It's like, why would you do that? Why would you want to listen to that being attempted, knowing that it's out of reach of the proficiency of these students? And it just kind of makes me laugh. I'm like, what is the expectation here? What are we doing? And why is it okay with ballet? And that's one of the things that I complain about. And typically about adult students, and I'll probably get some kickback from this, some pushback, but that's okay. Because adults tend to play ballet and they don't really care about how they look. Because if they did, they would want to actually learn ballet, not just play ballet. So it's like, oh, I got to learn this variation. I get to wear a little skirt. I get to wear my point shoes and blah, blah, blah. when they're not ready. And it's really sad, in my opinion, because I like to teach, like really teach and dig into technique and actually make improvements before jumping ahead to something else, right? And build on that like you normally would do. If you're going to build something, yes, start with a foundation, right? And make sure that that's super strong in order for the next thing to then be built. But for some reason, with ballet, there's this notion that you can just go and flit about and think that you're pretty without anything to back it up. The way I describe it with as a teacher, building the foundation when everyone wants to just look pretty and all of this stuff, right? It's like you can't hang artwork on walls that aren't built yet. So the artistry of ballet is not going to show up in a pretty way when you don't have a foundational wall to put it on. So why on earth would you want to screech through Vivaldi's Winter when you can just barely handle like Mary Had a Little Lamb, right? That was me in the 4th grade, and oh boy did I screech. Wow, I didn't stay with the violin very long. And I don't know, you know what? You just got to give some credit to 4th grade music teachers. Because that's all you get. A lot of screeching and oh my gosh. Who remembers doing a recorder, right? Your little flute and how horrible even that sounded. And that's a pretty simple instrument. Oh man, doesn't that just make you wonder, what do 4th grade music teachers do when they leave for the day? Do they go down a bottle of something? Alcohol? Like, ooh. I gotta I gotta erase all those sounds out of my brain. And it's just what it is because they're kids, you know? I was just learning that even these adults, they're just learning, and that's okay. That's okay. My beef is, why are we pushing so hard something that's really out of reach? So, because ballet so pertains to life, it just kind of made me think, okay, well, what are we doing in our lives that is that same thing? What are we setting goals that are just really not attainable and making ourselves frustrated because we can't attain them? Are we not setting enough goals? I mean, there's a fine line there. There's a fine balance. Like when I teach turnout, it's like, don't over rotate your feet because that's going to hurt you. That's going to take out your knees real fast, or at least over time it will. And it's one of those things that legs have to turn out from the hips, and it has to be equal on both sides. So you can't just torque your feet open and hope to goodness your legs get there. Now, here's the thing. When you see Russian dancers, they are handpicked for ballet. So they have more capacity because they're already molding that way as a kid. They already have an openness to their hips. And so it's a little bit different. They just teach opening your feet. They don't really teach, to my knowledge, using your correct turnout from your hips. And of course, a lot of them are broken, but they produce some amazing ballet dancers. Holy freaking cow. I mean, gorgeous. So something is working. But the thing is, in America, anybody can take ballet, which is really cool. And I'm so glad because I probably wouldn't have been chosen if I was in Russia. They would have looked at my, I mean, albeit thin, but I have knobby knees and zero hyperextension, flat feet. I don't think I would have been chosen. I did have a capacity for rotation, but I don't think I would have been chosen. But thankfully, I'm American. So I got put into ballet when I was 3, and it worked out really well. Whereas in Russia, they're taking 8 to 10-year-olds, and a lot of them have already started in gymnastics, so they do have an amount of flexibility to work with. But you get chosen to go to Vaganova school. And that is meaning you get taken out of your home and you are at Vaganova school at the age of wherever, 8 to 10 years old. And you go through your schooling at the same time that you're going through your ballet classes and whatever else they offer. I know they do character stuff too. But in other words, those are two different worlds. You have one that's being chosen for it, and then you have another who you don't get chosen. You just show up randomly. So it's a different way of thinking and training. I prefer the American way because I appreciate American dancers because we don't necessarily have all the facility that they're looking for in Russia. And therefore, we all have the opportunity, which is exactly what America's about. And I love that. I love that anyone can show up at the studio and start taking ballet. Now, depending on the training, obviously, and what their body can do, is going to determine the progress and how fast that is and all that. But here's the thing, when I start teaching turnout, I'm trying to preserve the safety of the body and knees and ankles and hips and all of that. So I don't let my students over rotate their feet. I'm trying to train them and teach them how to look for that line to see where hips and knees and toes come into alignment. And that's what it is. And that's difficult in and of itself. That's really tough. But so, in other words, I don't push them beyond where they can go. But sometimes I have to say, you're not turning out enough. You need to push harder. So there's like this fine line between pushing hard and being lazy. Where is that line? And where does that rest in everyday life? Sometimes we push too hard in things that we're just not ready for, and then we get frustrated. And then there are other times that we're just not doing enough and things are kind of ho hum and blah, blah, blah. Right. So I don't know. Oops. Talk with my hands. I might be Italian. I don't know. Maybe that's it. I don't even know because I'm adopted, so I have no idea. And I haven't done a DNA thing yet. I probably should, just out of curiosity. But yeah, maybe Italian because, I do this a lot. But then again, maybe that's just my training because I'm used to using my hands and my arms in what I do. Who knows? Anyway, so it just was a random thought like, where does that fine line show up in life? I know that there are tons of workaholics out there that really could use to back off, right? I am so pleased that both Jimmy and I have been learning how to really take time to rest. He didn't used to do that at all. I mean, like, at all. And it was actually kind of killing him. And that's a really, really bad thing. And that's what we have to be aware of. Just like I won't let my students push too hard past where they're capable in rotation, or they're going to end up with knee replacement surgery in a decade or two. That's not worth it. But on the other hand, if we want to progress, we can't stand in a turnout, if you will, that's not challenging. That's not going to get you anywhere either. So, how do we balance those two things? Well, I think the real balance is fun. It's like, can you say that you're living fun? Because that's the real balance point to me. Because then you can say, yeah, I'm working really hard, but man, I'm having fun. Or I'm taking a break, and man, that's really fun. Both works, and they both have their place. So it's all about living fun and figuring out how to live fun. And because then everything kind of falls into place and you have balance. And I know for me, one of the things that I'm always harping about when it comes to living fun as opposed to just having fun is what do you do in life? That's a big determiner, determination. Anyway, of if you get to live fun. Stepping back into my career means that I get to live fun. This is not work, even though I'm standing at the bar while I'm taking class and I am like, oh my God, this is so hard. Inside, I don't actually say that out loud, even though inside my body's going, this is so hard. And it is, but there's something so blasted fun about that I can't get over. It's just like, wow, I am doing this thing. So much fun. Even teaching, getting to help that along in someone else and seeing the light bulb go on and seeing the techniques show up and them like going, "Oh my gosh, that was so much easier." Like, there you go. That's so much fun. So being able to be doing ballet again, especially the dancing for me, um, that is living fun. So if you actually do something that just charges your heart and your soul, like ballet does for me, then that is a huge step of being able to live fun. And that's part of my whole thing is what is your thing? What is it that just jazzes you so well that you can get out of bed and go, "Oh, I can't wait to get to the studio. Oh, I know I'm going to be able to get this and this and this done." And also, right now, writing my book is that way. Like, oh, gotta get this done. I can't wait. Both creatives, writing, dancing. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense. But, like, what if you're a nerdy engineer type? I'm looking at Jimmy because he got his degree in manufacturing engineering. And so I'm just teasing him. But that's creative too, actually, when you really think about it. So it's like, what are you doing in life? And if you're not able to make that your actual career where you get paid basically to play, then how can you put that into your life in some way so you still get to have that? Far too many people are not happy and they're not even having fun. They're certainly not living fun. They have moments of fun, but that typically means that it's those moments that are um, like you. The only time that happens is they go out, they go dancing, or something like that. But they're not living fun, and even the having fun is kind of sparse, right? Far too many people live like that. And I truly believe that it's because the dreams that we arrive with get smushed out in some way, shape, or form. So tapping back into those dreams really makes a difference, whether you're able to monetize it, which would be best, or somehow make it a big part of your life. And I got to give credit to this student that I'm referencing because she is a professional in the medical community, and she's a speech pathologist and has some amazing knowledge and does some amazing work to help people after having a stroke or whatever, and they're having to relearn how to function in their mouths. And it's amazing what she does, but she loves ballet. So she makes sure that she is in the studio. I think she takes like 4 days a week. She does private lessons with me. And it's really that to me is like, okay, she's living fun. She's got a handle at least on that, on living fun, because it's something that feeds her soul, and she's just doing it. She's making it happen, and she's also made some performance opportunities happen for herself, which is super fun and exciting. And I got to give her massive credit for stepping out of the comfort zone and doing these things simply because she wants to. that's what that's what living fun is. Living fun is doing things because we want to, not because we have to. It's that joy out of just being so be that that you just are. Right? I know that sounds really out there and woo, but they're everybody else's expectations on us, that just is such a killjoy. And that's really, in honesty, that's what fucks us over. That's it. When we buy into that BS, I don't know why I can't say bullshit when I just said fuck. But anyway, when we buy into that, it just does this slow diminishing and slow death to us and our lives and the living fun that we came here to do and we were doing when we were kids. And then all of that got smushed out. So it's time. It is time to get back to that. It's time to rebel and say, nope, I'm going to be who I am. Don't like it? Okay, whatever. and be good with that. Have the grit to be good with that and not care what everybody else thinks. That is actually living fun because that's free. That's freedom. And then you can do whatever you want and you can be fully who you're supposed to be. That's my whole thing now. And I'm so excited about it. I really hope that you will join me in this. The first thing you can do is take my fun quotient quiz. So if you go to rebelfun.com/quiz, you can get a gander at to what's going on in your life. Like, are you having your fun stolen from you? You may not even know that. It's like, what do you mean my fun is being stolen from me? You may not even have any idea what the hell I'm talking about. And that's okay. Take this quiz and get a clue. Find out. Figure it out. If not, if you are A-okay, then hey, awesome. But I have a feeling most people don't even realize how much their lives have been diminished and how much fun they're missing. So, if you have the guts, take this quiz, rebelfun.com/quiz, to see what your fun quotient is. And that's pretty much going to do it for today. I'm glad you stopped by. Who knows what I'm going to rant about next time? I don't, because I kind of never do. But anyway, you know what? All I have to do is think about ballet because ballet is life and there's always some kind of correlation. So have a fantastic day. I hope you are at least having fun, but I'd love it so much if you were actually living fun. So until next time, have a great day, great week, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.